All right, America, let's talk about Muslims in the US. Not the scary, sensationalized version you see on Fox News, but the real deal. The doctors, the engineers, the entrepreneurs, the bodega owners who always get your order right. We're talking about a community woven into the fabric of this country from coast to coast. They're serving up halal food truck deliciousness in LA, building tech empires in Silicon Valley, and even running for office in places you wouldn't expect. But let's be real, it's not all sunshine and baklava. Being Muslim in America often means facing prejudice, discrimination, and the constant pressure to prove your Americanness. So today, we're diving deep into the top 10 states with the largest Muslim populations, uncovering their contributions, and confronting the challenges they face head-on. Let's go! First up, we're headed to the Garden State, a place known for its beaches, boardwalks, and Bruce Springsteen. But tucked away in its bustling cities and quiet suburbs is a vibrant Muslim community, representing a whopping 3% of the state's population. That's right, the highest percentage in the entire nation. From the iconic mosques of Jersey City to the halal carts serving up late-night eats, New Jersey's Muslim community has become a vital part of the state's identity. They're doctors, lawyers, teachers, and entrepreneurs, contributing to every facet of New Jersey life. But even in a state as diverse as New Jersey, challenges persist. We're talking about the casual Islamophobia, the suspicious stares, and the constant pressure to assimilate. Imagine living in a country where your patriotism is constantly questioned, where your faith is seen as a threat. And let's not forget the post-9/11 world where Muslims in America, especially in places like New Jersey, felt the weight of suspicion and surveillance. Suddenly, their mosques were being watched, their communities were being targeted, and their loyalty to the only country they called home was being questioned at every turn. Next up, we're cruising into Michigan, home to the Motor City Motown and a surprisingly significant Muslim population. We're talking about over 300,000 strong, and no, they're not all just working on assembly lines. Now, Dearborn, Michigan deserves its own Wikipedia page. It boasts one of the largest Arab Muslim populations in North America. And these folks aren't just building cars, they're building communities. We're talking mosques, halal restaurants, and even Arab-themed malls. It's like stepping into a different world, but guess what? It's still America. But let's not sugarcoat it. Life for Muslims in post-9/11 America, even in a place as seemingly integrated as Dearborn, hasn't been easy. We're talking about increased surveillance, profiling at airports, and the constant fear of being labeled as the other. Imagine being a Muslim engineer, a doctor, or even a teacher, and constantly feeling like you have to work twice as hard to prove your worth. This is the reality for many Muslims in Michigan and across the country, but hey, they're resilient. They've learned to navigate this world, to challenge stereotypes and to build bridges instead of walls. All right, folks, buckle up because we're headed to the city that never sleeps. The concrete jungle, the 5 boroughs, the one and only New York City. We're talking about a place with over 8.8 million people, and guess what? 750,000 of them are Muslim. New York City is known for its hustle, its grit, and its diversity. Muslims are doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, you name it. But here's the thing about New York City, it's a pressure cooker. The cost of living is insane, competition is fierce, and everyone's trying to make it. And for the Muslim communities, that comes with its own set of challenges. Why, imagine trying to raise a family, maintain your cultural practices, and pray 5 times a day. But New Yorkers are resilient, they're scrappy, resourceful, and they know how to make it work. And that's what makes the Muslim community in New York City so inspiring. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. They're building businesses, raising families, and contributing to the fabric of one of the most dynamic cities on earth. Okay, folks, let's trade in the skyscrapers for palm trees. And the subway for, well, probably still traffic. Because we're heading to California, home to Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and a diverse Muslim community. Think tech giants, surfers, and maybe a celebrity or two. But California's Muslim community is integral to the state's identity. Engineers in Silicon Valley, doctors in LA, and entrepreneurs with halal food trucks. The community is incredibly diverse, from Pakistani Americans in the Bay Area to Iranian Americans in Los Angeles. But it's not always sunny in the Golden State. Islamophobia exists here too. California mirrors the challenges and triumphs faced by Muslims across America. Thriving communities, contributing to society and fighting for social justice, but also facing discrimination and hate crimes. Yet they're not backing down. They're organizing, mobilizing, and making their voices heard. Building bridges, advocating for justice, and making California inclusive for all. All right, folks, let's trade in the beaches and sunshine for some deep dish pizza and Midwestern charm. Because we're headed to Illinois. Specifically, we're going to the heart of it all, Chicago. The Windy City is home to one of the largest and most diverse Muslim populations in the Midwest. Chicago is known for its iconic architecture, passionate sports fans, and brutally cold winters. But it also has a rich history of Muslim immigration and activism. Generations of Muslims have built businesses and contributed to their communities. From tech startups to real estate to healthcare, they're entrepreneurial and ambitious. Chicago's Muslim community is also deeply invested in giving back. They provide social services, offer interfaith dialogues, and fight for social justice. While Chicago is the epicenter, Muslims thrive all across Illinois. From Naperville to Champaign-Urbana, they're building communities and challenging stereotypes. Living in a post-9/11 world comes with challenges like Islamophobia and discrimination. But Illinois' Muslim community is resilient, turning challenges into opportunity. They're building bridges of understanding and showing that being Muslim and American are not mutually exclusive. All right, y'all, we're headed to the Lone Star State, where everything's bigger, including the Muslim population. Texas, home to cowboys, oil tycoons, and, wait for it, around 450,000 Muslims. You heard that right. That's enough to fill up the Dallas Cowboys' AT&T Stadium almost 5 times over. They're thriving in energy, real estate, and yes, even the BBQ scene. Don't act so surprised. Halal brisket, anyone? But let's be real, Texas is also known for its conservative political landscape. This can sometimes lead to a bit of a culture clash. But amidst these challenges, the community perseveres, building bridges and proving that Texas hospitality can extend to everyone, regardless of their faith. They're breaking down stereotypes and showing the world that you can be a proud Texan and a devout Muslim at the same time. Because in the Lone Star State, Muslims are proving that you can be true to your faith and your country, all while enjoying a plate of delicious BBQ. From the cowboy hats of Texas, we land in the Sunshine State, Florida, home to Disney World, beaches that seem to stretch forever, and a rapidly growing Muslim population. That's right, folks, Florida is becoming quite the melting pot, and the Muslim community is adding its own unique flavor. We're talking doctors, teachers, entrepreneurs, you name it. They're making their mark in tourism, healthcare, and even the tech industry. Because who needs Silicon Valley when you have the beaches of Miami, right? But let's not sugarcoat it. Life in Florida for Muslims isn't always a walk in the park. Like many other states, Florida has had its share of Islamophobic incidents. From hateful rhetoric to discrimination, the challenges are real. But here's the thing about Florida Muslims. They're resilient. They're not letting prejudice rain on their parade. Instead, they're fighting back with education, outreach, and a whole lot of sunshine. Florida Muslims are on a mission to break down stereotypes and build bridges of understanding. They're organizing interfaith events, participating in community dialogues, and even offering crash courses on Islam. Talk about Southern hospitality. Take the Islamic Society of Central Florida, for example, sir. They host an annual Meet Your Muslim Neighbor event that attracts thousands of people from all walks of life. It's a chance to ask questions, share a meal, and realize that, hey, Muslims are just like everyone else. And it's not just about changing perceptions, it's about making a tangible difference. Florida Muslims are at the forefront of social justice initiatives, advocating for immigrants' rights, fighting poverty, and promoting environmental sustainability. So the next time you're sipping a mojito on South Beach, remember the vibrant Muslim community that calls Florida home. They're proof that even in a state known for its sunshine, true warmth comes from human connection and understanding. From the sunny shores of Florida, we find ourselves in Virginia, a state steeped in history. We're talking battlefields, founding fathers, and a thriving Muslim community. That's right, Virginia is more diverse than your history textbooks might lead you to believe. Forget the horse-drawn carriages and powdered wigs. Virginia Muslims are shaping the future. We're talking doctors, lawyers, teachers, and even politicians. That's right, they're trading in tricorn hats for voting booths. They're making their voices heard in classrooms, boardrooms, and even the halls of power. But it's not all smooth sailing. Virginia, like many states, grapples with Islamophobia. From discriminatory policies to hateful rhetoric, the challenges are real. But Virginia Muslims are resilient. They're not backing down from a fight, especially when it comes to protecting their rights and their community. One of the biggest challenges facing Virginia Muslims is preserving their cultural identity amidst rapid urbanization and a rapidly changing social fabric. How do you hold on to your traditions while embracing the future? It's a tightrope walk. But Virginia Muslims are finding creative ways to make it work. They're establishing Islamic schools, community centers, and even mosques that blend traditional architecture with modern design elements. They're creating spaces where faith and modernity coexist, where young Muslims can connect with their heritage while embracing the opportunities of the 21st century. And it's not just about bricks and mortar. Virginia Muslims are using technology to connect with each other, share their stories, and build bridges with the wider community. They're proving that you don't have to choose between your faith and your future. You can embrace both. All right, we're heading down south to Georgia, a state where sweet tea flows like water, and the hip-hop scene is straight fire. Nestled in the heart of it all is a thriving Muslim community. Atlanta is a tech hub, a cultural melting pot, with Muslims at the forefront of innovation. They're deeply invested in social justice, fighting for equality and immigrants' rights, leading the charge against discrimination, from halal food trucks to vibrant mosques, adding unique flavor to the city's rich tapestry. Outside Atlanta, in rural Georgia, the Muslim community is smaller and often misunderstood. Exposure to Islam is often limited to media portrayals. Misconceptions need addressing, bridges need building. They're organizing interfaith dialogues and open houses. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to live our lives and pursue the American dream. It's on all of us to educate ourselves and recognize our Muslim brothers and sisters as part of America. Next up, we're cruising into the Buckeye State, Ohio. Home to football rivalries, endless cornfields, and a vibrant Muslim community. You might not think of Ohio as a hub for Muslim life, but you'd be wrong. We're talking doctors and nurses saving lives, professors shaping young minds, and entrepreneurs building businesses. These are the pillars of their communities. The Muslim community in Ohio is deeply invested in giving back. They're running food banks, organizing blood drives, and supporting initiatives that benefit everyone. Talk about embodying the true spirit of community. But it hasn't always been easy. Remember the Ground Zero Mosque controversy? That wave of Islamophobia reached Ohio too. Ohio has its own urban-rural divide. In cities like Columbus and Cleveland, you'll find a more diverse population, greater understanding of different cultures, and more halal restaurants. But in smaller towns, the Muslim community is smaller, less visible, and sometimes faces stereotypes, the ones that breed fear and suspicion. But the Muslim community in Ohio is working to bridge this divide. They're organizing interfaith dialogues, inviting neighbors to experience Ramadan, and engaging in conversation. because nothing breaks down barriers like genuine human connection. Ohio's Muslim community is resilient, determined, and here to stay, to contribute, and to be a part of the fabric of this great state. From the bustling streets of New York City to the sunny shores of Florida, from the tech hubs of California to the heartland of Ohio, we've journeyed across America, meeting its diverse Muslim communities. We've seen their contributions, their businesses, their mosques, their activism, and we've heard their stories of resilience, of hope, and of the relentless pursuit of the American dream. But let's be real, the journey hasn't been without its bumps in the road. Islamophobia, cultural stereotypes, and yes, even straight-up discrimination are realities that many American Muslims face every single day. We've seen it in the headlines. We've heard it from politicians, and frankly, it's exhausting. But here's the thing, they're not backing down. So they are not letting fear silence them. Instead, they're rising above the hate, using their voices to educate, to advocate, and to build bridges of understanding. Because at the end of the day, this is their home too. They're an integral part of the American story, bridging cultures, shaping industries, and enriching the nation with their unique perspectives and talents. So what's your perspective on their journey? What can we all learn from their stories? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through America's Muslim communities, don't forget to like and subscribe to Bamo Travel. Join us next time as we explore another incredible story from around the globe. Peace out.